Hi, Angela here. So, today I want to talk about letting that stuff go, right? Like letting go. So today's the 28th. So 2 days ago was the full moon. And what I have been doing for the last year and a half is when it is a full moon, I take that time to let go of things that do not serve me anymore. Writing out a list of things and then burning that list and just letting it go off to the universe. As I've done that, I've found that my life has transformed. Having that kind of ritual where I sit down and I figure out what doesn't serve me anymore and what I need to let go to grow. And the new moon that just happened is the same thing where it is about writing goals or writing your intentions of what you see yourself in the future, what you think the universe, um, letting the universe know what you would like to see. And it allows the new to come in, and the full moon is a release one, letting go. So with this full moon recently, I remember I woke up and that day was just beautiful. Everything was changing. I woke up, I saw the the sky was blue with purples and pinks. It was gorgeous. As I walked, I would see trees. They were changing from green to yellow. It was almost like I was wearing rose colored glasses. It was it's the feeling of joy, right? So what was interesting about that is as this journey has been going on and I've been tapped more into the universe or the energy, right? Trying to live in the now, right? Not being in that rat race like I was in the past. And in the past, I used to have a drive of getting things done or solving problems for other people or sacrificing myself, all my energy to everybody else. And I'm getting to a point now that um, a day like that where I'm feeling alive, I'm like, oh, let's share this with everybody. Let's be happy and show everybody that positive part of life. But sometimes I forget that sometimes the focus comes back into me. And that day, I remember feeling heavy after that experience. Because when you are allowing yourself to feel life, sometimes everything starts surfacing that needs to be surfaced or looked at, right? For me, I think it had a lot to do with being kinder to myself and being able to like forgive myself. So I go on long walks and I just let my mind go. It's like a meditative state, and when I'm out in nature, you connect to nature. It gives you that grounding feeling. It allows you to be closer to the universe, and I think the universe can send us messages where it helps us to be able to grow as a person and move forward in our lives. And these new moons are very interesting because you write your intentions of what you want. And that night, I had wrote out my intentions of where I was seeing my future relationship um, with who I'm with now. And I think what it did was it was bringing up feelings afterwards to be able to release. Because if you haven't released the stuff on the full moon prior, it will come up before it can work on what you intend for your future. Because it's the one that knows what our path is. And that's my belief system. And so I have had this heavy feeling yesterday. It was so strong. It was me watching a show that I'm not sure if a lot of people cried at the show, but it was Mowgli. It was the Jungle Book, and it had a very beautiful story to it where they were even talking about connecting to the soul by looking through the eyes when they hunted, and there was just a lot of little things that made me cry. And I think I needed that release because I went to work that day and I realized that I was still grieving my 20-year-old marriage. And what I mean by that is the decision is not what I grieve. I am quite happy with who I am now and letting go of that 20-year marriage. Um, I, as far as I can see, my ex is very happy in his life and who he's with, and it's more about releasing and forgiving myself because I thought if I only worked more, I would be able to save that marriage, or that those vows I took. I took very much to heart. I really did think that my ex-husband was my one and only and that we would be together forever. Um, so now with life, I don't cling to that anymore. That's the one thing I've learned in the last year and a half is learning how to not cling. So when I write up my goals, I tend to write about not clinging to certain ideas and I just allow myself to flow into what the universe has in store for me. And usually, what was so interesting about that was a year and a half ago, the universe would speak to me. It's very interesting because now that I say this to you, and you'll start observing it in your own life, I'm sure, where, like, for instance, there's that moment where you're like, why is this happening today of all days? Or I remember the last car accident I had was 3 years ago. And at that time, I got out of the vehicle. A guy had hit me from behind and he knocked me off the road. And I got out of my vehicle and saw that it was ruined. And I said to the guy, I said, what in the hell? I don't need this today, right? And what it was a lesson because at that time was the time where I I had the car accident. Then my ex-husband now, he had a heart attack. I ended up in the hospital with a gallbladder that had to be removed because it was so toxic. To having a hysterectomy, to so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. This was the universe saying, "Stop, Angela. You're going down the path that isn't meant for you. You're pushing yourself way beyond what you need, and you're sacrificing a lot of your energy and time on things that don't really matter." And what happened was by stopping me by saying, nope, you're not going to drive anymore, so you're going to start working out. And by working out, what happens? I start working out. I start getting back to the old self, being able to reflect when I walk, so on, so on. Like this domino effect, right? Like the universe will give you those things. Now I'm at a point in my life that it's very interesting because I don't get those push from the universe like car accidents or ending up in the hospital. I am now at a point where I'm so intuitive to my energy that I feel it. I can feel when things are surfacing, and I've learned how to balance it by sitting in the now and being able to allow myself, if I'm feeling sad, just to let myself cry and not push myself harder than I need to or find forgiveness in the moment. And so I guess this whole video is about me saying letting go is the way about it. It's about being in the moment and being able to allow the universe to take the wheel and be able to show you why you might feel off, like me crying during this movie. It was like a release I had to have because I had asked the universe for to progress with my new relationship further and deeper and more connection. But I can't do that if I don't get to a point where I release and forgive myself for my previous relationship and to find that self love and be able to make space for that so that the new relationship I'm giving full force my heart to. And when you're in it though, you don't feel that way. You feel kind of like, okay, or maybe it's just me, but I feel like, oh, I need to be happy. I need to be happy. No more crying, no more joy. So I am being challenged that way, and I'm learning how to be me without blaming myself. That makes sense? Well, this is all I have to say today. If you have been experiencing the energy and it's bringing you through a roller coaster, know that you're not alone. I am totally in there myself, and I just am at a point where I trust the universe. The universe has guided me in the last year and a half, and I believe that it has a lot more in store for me. And that's my biggest goal, is just to keep going forward and learning from my mistakes and finding that forgiveness and love and putting it out in the universe. So I wish you guys love and light, and I hope you are having a wonderful day.